Hey, Ashley.
Hi,
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Go for it.
Okay. So my question is kind of a two-part for you.
Okay.
The first part is, why do you think I do performance work? And why do you think that I make work in general?
Oh, that's tough. I think just seeing like from presentations how you kind of evolved from 3D work into your performance. I think a lot of the stories you're wanting to tell needed that physical aspect and needed you to be involved in it. So I think that's partially why you do performance. I'm sure there's much deeper reasons why, but I think for your artistry, you need that medium in order to tell what you need to. Um, and then why you make art in general.
Mhm.
That's not an easy question to answer. I think everyone makes art for different reasons.
Yeah.
And so, truthfully, I don't know. I think probably just based on the work you do for identity, trying to either come to terms with identity or how the world views identity,
Mhm.
um, or it's just a place for you to maybe discuss it. So I don't think I could probably accurately answer that question.
Yeah, I know it's kind of a fully loaded question. Thank you.
Anytime.
Margot, how are we doing today?
Oh, I am so good. How are you today?
Good, good. How's your lunch?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Good. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Go for it.
Do you like who I am as a person? Why or why not?
Well, I would have to say that knowing you as a person, I think we've only barely scratched the surface of that. What I know I like, and it is enough that I'm interested in getting to know you better. Um, so I'm not sure. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah. Do you think it answers it?
I think so. I mean, I don't know that we sitting in class together and going out to eat every now and again is not truly getting to know somebody, but I would love to know more. But I like what I know. There you go.
Well, thank you. Hey, Jess.
Hey buddy, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
The usual living and breathing.
Is Alex still with you?
No, I just dropped him off. He's going back to Atlanta.
Oh, okay. I was gonna tell him hi, but do you mind if I ask you a question?
No, no issues.
Alrighty. So my question for you is, am I making a big impact on you in this very moment, and why or why not?
I think that you are currently making an impact on me. Your existence has continued to make an impact on me, as we've discussed in some prior conversations. You have influenced some major decisions that I've made recently, and that has not changed, and that continues to be a part of my everyday moments.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Hey, Haley, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Of course, go ahead.
Of course. So my question for you is, do you think my performances are a waste of your time, and why or why not?
I don't think they're a waste of anyone's time. I think that going into it, it's a new experience, and we should always be welcome and learning in new experiences. And I think that I've learned so much through your performances. I think other people have too. I think anyone that thinks that it's a waste of time doesn't appreciate the value in it.
Thank you, that means a lot.
You're welcome.
Hey, Austin, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I really enjoyed your elevator piece earlier.
Thank you. I hope you weren't the only one.
I hope so. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
You can ask me a question.
Alrighty. So my question for you is, what do you think my biggest insecurities are and why?
I don't know if I'm geared to answer that, but I think one of your insecurities may be what people may think about your performance art and how you go about that in ways of making them understand it and trying to find the balance of your viewer understanding the pieces you're creating. But then again, that's what I think,
Mhm.
which is subject to be false.
I think it's a valid point. I don't think you're wrong in your answer. Anything else, or is that it?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think your insecurities matter in your work?
Do I think my insecurities matter in my work? I think that they do matter, but I don't think that they should dictate what I choose to do, because if I always listen to my insecurities, then I wouldn't produce most of what I do. I wouldn't do performance work. I wouldn't kind of do anything, because if I really let my insecurities drive what I was doing, it would really limit me. But I think that I also have to be aware of those, because I do still face the challenges of thinking about when I do this piece or when I do something in general. I don't want it to dictate. I just have to realize that it's there. Kind of like having or dealing with anxiety. It's like realizing that it's there, but not letting it dictate the whole situation, if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Thank you. Hey, Maddie.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Just working on something. How are you?
I've been better. How about you?
Well, I love your rings this morning and your earrings too, which we didn't talk about, but.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Nope, don't mind.
Okay. So my question for you is, how would you describe my looks and personality to another person?
That's tough. As if they've never met you?
Yeah, like if you were just trying to give them like kind of who is Jalen?
I would describe you as someone who is an attentive listener, and you are considerate. I feel like you outwardly care for other people, or you show that you care, and that you're thoughtful. I don't think that you care much about what other people think of you. Like, it doesn't come off that way. Like, it obviously affects you by what other people say and think and assume, but that you don't allow that to be something that brings you down openly to other people. I would think that I would also describe you as being someone that's a little closed off. Like, you are outwardly friendly, but you don't let people get to know you until you get to know them.
Yeah.
And as far as your appearances go, I wouldn't I don't normally describe people by their appearances.
Yeah, that's totally valid. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I would probably have to agree with you on most of that as well. So thank you.
No problem.
Hey, Steven, how's it going?
All right, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Shoot.
Alrighty. So, do you like who I am as a person, and why or why not?
Yeah, I think you're wonderful as a person. I think that you bring a bunch of delightful, crazy energy to the room, and you have a lot of passion for kind of whatever we're talking about. So yeah, I think you're fun to be around.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, Pam, how are we doing?
I'm good. And just to let you know, Robert's over here with me.
Oh, Robert, hi. You're always sneaking around. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Pam if you'll allow me to ask you a question first, and then Robert, if you'll let me also ask you a question afterwards. That would be lovely.
Sure.
That's good.
All right, awesome. So Pam, this one's for you. Why do you think that I do performance work? And why do you think that I make work in general? Kind of that same two-part question.
I think you, let me think for a minute.
Okay.
I think you do performance work because you care a lot about people. You want to touch people's lives. You want people to investigate other people, kind of like a unifying thing, and a self-discovery and a discovery of what other people think and feel to a greater understanding.
Mhm. Now,
Why you do art in general? Is that the second part of the question?
yes.
Some of that applies that you want to communicate.
Mhm.
I think you have a passion for particular beliefs. You want to be able to present those in a way that that is creative and touches people. That's it.
Thank you so much. All right, Robert, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What do you think my biggest insecurities are and why?
You seem pretty secure in your own skin, comfortable in your own skin. So I don't perceive you as having any significant insecurities. You seem pretty strong and brave and outgoing, is indicated, is evidenced by your performance art. But if I had to guess, I would say your youth, maybe your limited years of experience as an adult gives you a sort of limited scope.
My childlike qualities? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what you're into. I'm just venturing a guess.
I kind of liked it. It was not what I was expecting. Was that it?
I guess that's it.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey,
How's it going?
doing well. Sitting in my office.
Good. Thank you for letting me borrow your laptop.
Yeah, no worries.
We wouldn't be here if not, I guess. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
No, I don't care. You can ask.
Okay. So my question for you is, am I making a big impact on you in this moment? If I am, how come? And if not, why?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, entering into this space and, something right now that's quite fascinating is this idea that you can't see me. I can't see you. We're having this almost like a phone conversation, and now I can see a reflection of everyone else because I'm on a phone, so I don't get the full screen. So that's pretty impactful right now. It's kind of an interesting split that happened. But you in general have an impact. Yeah, I think that, you know, expanding the voices that have now in the department gone off the wall and into our spaces, and what I knew they were capable of, and I think what they knew they were capable of, but the structure in place didn't allow those visions to take shape. I think that now those visions are taking shape, and you're starting to see, I mean, if it doesn't speak of what is being shown across the entire department, each one of you are influencing each other to where you're starting to recognize that your own worth is what's important in this program. And I think once you recognized your own expansion beyond the object and beyond what you were presenting, I think that just opened that space up. So I think that has a large impact on me, just because I've always dreamt of that in an art program where everybody gets to have a say and gets to have a voice.
Thank you. That really means a lot. And it's been lovely seeing everybody else's progress, especially this time around, and even this whole semester, even though it's felt like 10 years. But thank you. Alicia, are you there? Alicia, are you there? No? All right, Jackie, are you there?
I'm here.
Jackie,
Hi,
how are you doing?
I'm glad to be here.
Good, good. I'm glad you're here too. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
I don't mind.
All righty. I'm gonna ask you kind of the same question that I asked Maddie. How would you describe, I guess, my looks and personality to another person, to a stranger, if you had to describe me as a whole?
Okay, how would I describe you, your personality, and what was the other?
Looks.
Oh, okay. Well, I love descriptive words. So I would say that you are vivacious, passionate, intelligent, you have a need almost that I perceive a need to bring other people to, I guess, an awareness, or a deeper awareness of the types of issues that are going on right now with the racism, with gender issues, with sexual preference issues, identity issues, that sort of thing. So I think that you have
The weather change.
a strength there, a passion to bring those kind of to the forefront. I think you communicate well, even though sometimes I can't hear you, but I can't hear a lot of people. I think what you have to say is strong, but sometimes I don't hear that in your voice. But I know it's there. the other thing that I have noticed and appreciate is how you are inclusive.
Definitely.
You have insightful comments to make in critiques. And I would say that you're an impressive young person to be as young as you are, to have the outlook, the views, the intellect, that it's impressive, and it shows that you care about education. Your looks, I would say that you're a beautiful person, a beautiful inside and out. I would say that you've got gorgeous long hair, beautiful eyes, a nice smile, pleasant personality.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I really, really, really appreciate
You're welcome.
everything that you said. Thank you. Hey, Shrafi, are you there?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Just a minute.
Got a little bit of feedback.
What?
Oh, is that, she's saying the feedback.
Shrafi, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Mine's muted.
Someone.
Sounds like it's muted. You still have the sound.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you want this sound off?
Well, it doesn't matter. She went outside.
Because I was
Can
muted.
ask question.
So I don't know what to do then.
Yeah. So even
Hello.
though it says muted,
Shrafi, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
she won't tell
Sure.
him.
You
Say,
can
"I
ask me
go outside."
question.
Alrighty, sounds good.
One's computer was giving off of it.
Ask
So
the question.
for you, Shrafi, is do you like who I am as a person, and why or why not?
I like you because you have a lot of new idea and you are like open to any kind of new change. And sometimes change is good, sometimes change is bad. But I like the way you see everything in a different way.
Thank you.
Like different, yeah, like different people has different ability and different identity as you are working. So you have a broad mentality to accept everything.
Thank you. I definitely try to keep an open mind, and I love listening to other people's interpretations and conversations. The way their brains work very differently from mine. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, John, are you there? Hey, Amy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
No, go ahead.
Awesome, thank you. So my question for you is, do you think that my performance pieces are a waste of your time? And if so, why? If not, why?
No, I don't think they're a waste. I think that you're creating moments of self-reflection for a lot of us, which doesn't always happen day to day, because during your performances, we have to think about things. Even in this moment, I have to think about how I'm answering it and then how it's going to get flipped on its head when we talk about it later. So I think it just gives us these layers of thought to be better humans, creators, whatever we go on to.
Thank you.
It's done? Never will. Okay.
Are you done? Can you hear me? Are you done?
Am I?
It seems like it's your next performance. You will be silent and we will leave.
It's up to you.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Jalen,
Yes.
it's Margot.
Hey, Margo.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Why do you think people do art?
Why do I think people do art?
Yeah. Why do you think we do what we do?
I think there's a lot of different reasons, but I think it's really a need. I mean, I think art is very selfish because I feel like we make it as a way to understand kind of the world better and why we're doing things, no matter what you're working through. But I think it's also just a love for working with something tangible, for working through ideas, through working through concepts, trying to better understand people, trying to better communicate with people, trying to view other points of view. I think it's really just, and that's what I think it would come down to, is that I think people make in general because it's just really like this need that we have to connect with other people. And I think that that's what art, like the most important thing about art for me is that it brings people, I think, together, but more importantly, it brings you to an understanding of why we're thinking about the things we do. And it kind of brings us to these moments that you can't explain through words. Maybe it is explained through a conversation, or it's just a moment, or it's just a feeling sometimes. And I think that it's just really our desire to have that connection, whether it is a personal one or making those with others. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, Jalen,
Yeah.
why do you do performance art?
I do performance art because, well, it actually stemmed from, I grew like my whole life, up until college, I spent dancing, and I was always on stage and performing, and it was just kind of like what I was used to. And I kind of pushed that away for a long time because I thought it was just kind of like for fun. And I didn't really take dance I took dance seriously, but not in a way that I felt I would ever do with art. I definitely looked at art from a more traditional point of view, but I always kind of disliked it. I used to paint, and I love painting. I love the feeling of the brush on your canvas or on whatever material you're working with and incorporating other things into that. But I just wasn't getting out what I wanted from it. And I didn't really care about what I was making. I didn't really care about the physical piece as much as I felt that I should have. And I knew that there was something missing. And I was just always too insecure, too scared to ever kind of venture into performance art. And so I kind of hit that wall with when I was doing my like pyramids and boxes with my belt hole punch outs. And I was like, it's not what I want. Because I was just blocking myself for so long. And so that's kind of why I do performance, because it's more interactive with people. I care more about the people, and what I get out of it, what you get out of it, whether you choose to take anything with you or not. It was just it just made so much more sense for the way that I communicate to do it through performance. And I can't imagine still, like if I wasn't doing performance right now, I don't even know what I would be doing. I don't think I would ever be like somewhat happy kind of with what I'm producing. So yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you feel like you can face your insecurities a little bit better or process through them through performance?
I don't necessarily know about through the performance, but maybe afterwards, like kind of reflecting on it. I think that a lot of things come up in my performance, emotional wise, that like I don't think about, that I deal with. Like taking compliments is really hard for me, and you guys couldn't see me, so I don't really know, but I was crying when Jackie was talking because like what she was saying was just very, very impactful. And I was also really nervous. I was like shaking, like, you know, like leg tap shaking. And then I was crying and I was like, oh God, this is embarrassing. But so I think that it does help kind of bring stuff for me to think about. And I don't know if it helps me get over the insecurity, but the kind of like emotions and things that I get out of it, or that I get out of from listening to you guys talk, or whether it's the after conversation, I think it makes me reflect a lot, constantly on myself, especially when I am the center like of the performance or the center of attention when it's on me. So it makes me definitely think about things a lot, but I still get very, very anxious before every performance, and because I'm always stressed out that it's something bad's going to happen or I'm just going to embarrass myself. So it has helped to get over that, though, I will say.
Good. Well, I'm glad it has.
Thanks.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How would you describe yourself?
Like personality.
Personality.
I would say that I'm a very outgoing person, but I am also reserved. I do often put up not really like a fake part of me, but this kind of facade because I want everybody to like who I am as a person. So I won't always tend to speak my mind like very honestly, but that's because I don't ever want to make somebody else upset or kind of hurt by the things I say, in case that ever like conflict ever arises. But also along with that, I am a very, very giving and loving person, I would say, and giving and loving in that I am there and I try to support you as best as I can and be a listener. And I've always had this obsession with comfort. I always want to be a comfort and I always want to provide this sense of comfort for others. And I think that really comes from like my immediate family, because all of my, like me and my siblings grew up very, very close and like with my parents. And it's kind of this, also being an older sibling has caused me to be very protective. But I've always found myself, even from a young age with friends, like that's my main sense, is making sure that everybody feels comfortable in the space that they're in with me, at least, because I don't ever want to be that. So yeah, kind of outgoing, but also introverted, also very open, honest, but sometimes not because I don't hurt people. So it's very, it's kind of a lot, I think. I think it's really hard. I do hate that question, like describing myself or describing someone else, because how do you dumb down somebody like that is so complex, because we're all so complex, right? But I think for a general kind of answer, that's what.
I have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah.
So you are working with the individual person and their difference, like different people has a different identity, different habit, everything. So how can you, if you are in a place like there is you like for governmental issue or something like this, so they need to be rearranged, like all the people, like some people is female, some people male, some people are they try to represent them in a different way. So how you will, your opinion about that, how they need to act on that
So
is.
how do I basically kind of connect with all of these different identities, like through my own? So like whether you are, however you identify, how do I make that like that space for everybody?
Yeah, space for everybody is not like, yeah, the space for everybody. Like if I go somewhere, then they ask me, you're female or male. or you want to identify yourself with a different one,
Yeah.
or or about gender, or about skin, or about root. So how can you generalize this on? Like everything is different. It's a lot, like a lot, million of people. So how you think about the generalizing the people?
Yeah, so I guess, and this is kind of like a selfish answer, but there's really no way for me to generalize and try to, I guess, be everybody or take on everybody else's identity. So kind of the way I look at it and go into things is that being very honest with myself, and making that clear to other people. So explaining who I am, but also having those hard conversations. Like, for example, if somebody asked me, do you identify as like a man or a woman? I would say, well, I do identify as a woman, but then I'd have to get into, well, what do I think a woman is? And then that's where I kind of go into, well, I like the term non-binary. I like using non-binary, right? Which doesn't assign a gender to it. So that's like when you use pronouns like they, them. And so I would say, but then it for me, that responsibility is for me to explain kind of why I feel that. And I would say, well, I feel this because I do enjoy things. If we're thinking about what is masculine, what is feminine, I feel like I encompass a lot of those traits. And so then I would go further into explaining. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is really just is being honest, and also being able to explain and like back up, why I am me, or how am I affecting you? And also if I mess up or if I were to offend somebody, it's being able to accept that I was wrong and to listen, to what they're telling me, because I do have a bad habit too of not always fully listening. So it's really just, as I think, as long as I approach, or anybody approaches a situation with honesty and as they are, I think that kind of, you don't have to generalize for people, but you're able to start having conversations.
So how can the government take care everyone like individually? Because there are social facilities with the individual people.
Yeah, well, I don't think there is really like a solution, at least not that I know of right now, where like what I'm talking about will affect everybody or everybody will resonate with it. I think that's also important in knowing is that I could go do a performance right in the middle of campus and nobody cares and nobody listens and nobody sits with me, but maybe one person does. And for me, that one person is the most important to me, because at least then I know maybe they were able to like have a reflection of themselves that they never would have had, or maybe they just wanted to tell me something. I think it's like, as long as I have, which this sounds selfish, but as long as I feel like I do make an impact on somebody, or even if I'm not the one making the impact, maybe it's just something they saw and then they're like, oh, it made me think of this. Like that's the biggest thing, is that I would hope that eventually, like, somebody could connect to what I'm talking about. And if they couldn't, then they can't. I don't really think there is like something where I could, like, something very direct or specifically relate to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks.
I don't have a question, but I have a statement.
Yes.
I think that I think you make a great impact on everyone that you meet. Not necessarily, I know that you like to throw around the words, like, I know it's selfish, but it's not selfish at all. You do a lot of good work and you're really impactful on pretty much anybody that you meet, whether or not you think that, but you do a lot of good work and you're achieving the impact that you want. Whether or not you recognize it is yet to be determined.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh my God. Were there any more questions?
I have one.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
This is Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
I just want to give you an opportunity to ask me questions if you want.
Oh, to ask you questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to. I just thought you asked everybody and you didn't know I'd signed in yet.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess I can ask you a question. Is it okay if it's about answering a question about me?
Yeah, you can ask me anything.
Okay. So I'll ask you, Kathy, what do you think my biggest insecurities are and why?
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please?
Oh yeah. Sorry, the feedback's kind of there. What do you think my biggest insecurities are and why?
You know, it's a tough question. I don't really see that you have insecurities.
Is that your final answer? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, and the thing is that I agree with everything everybody else has said, you know.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think you probably have the same insecurities as everybody.
Yeah.
And because you're human
Yeah.
and you're a sensitive person, so that would lend itself to having insecurities.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, I don't know, I feel like I've known you from before. I think we've shared that before.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, I don't know, we just hit it off, and I like your sense of humor.
Yeah. Thanks, Kathy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Does anybody else have a question? Alrighty. Well, thank you guys. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.